Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing and football selections for Saturday the 29th of November. So, first of all, good morning everybody. I'm going to talk you through this video. I'm going to start with the football because it will be the quickest by far. So, if you've got any comments that you'd like to make, any opinions, please leave them in the comments below. I will respond to every single one of them. Be interesting to get the comments section a little bit lively again in a positive way. So, lots going on today. One of my selections, sorry, one of the races where I haven't had a selection or nominated selection, I may still have a bet, but I shall tell you that straight off the top. So, the fighting fifth hurdle. Don't trust Constitution Hill anymore. Far too many question marks. It might win with its head in its chest. I don't know. And to be fair, I don't trust races like that. It could well turn into a sprint. Who can tell, really? The danger is obviously the new Lion. I just think that horse, it won't be for, well, out of the three, I think that is the, no, sorry, not out of the three. I don't think it's going to be fully tuned up today. I think they'll try and pick up the win, obviously the win prize money, but it's Cheltenham they're talking about. It's Cheltenham or possibly Aintree as well. It's not about the fighting fifth hurdle. So I just think Willie Mullins, he could have a superstar in his hands, but even if he hasn't, his superstars could be safe for the races where the new Lion and Constitution Hill will run in future. But I just think today Willie Mullins may have chosen this horse as the most likely horse out of what he's got to win this particular race. I think he's got that many horses, that many talented horses, that he doesn't have to run them in these kind of races to see how they get on. I think he's got horses ready-made to win these kind of races. Yeah, if you know what I mean. So I think it's called something like Alamanzar or Almanzamar, something like that. You'll recognise it when you see it. So that's in the fighting fifth hurdle at Newcastle. So let me get onto the football bet. So after 2 blank weeks on the football, it's terrible. Not really. We're still showing £58 profit. We did get up to, I think it was about 350, something like that, 330. So 2 blank weeks. You don't need to know what the AI SOP's called, but I shall tell you anyway. It's called the Apollyon 7 Seals version 6.2, and it's for Saturday the 29th of November 2025. So we've now got a bank of £208. We always do 20% of the bank, so we'll be staking £41.60. So as you can see below, it's a £16.64 treble. I call them cert winners because they're not cert winners. It's just so the AI can understand that we want nothing else apart from these football selections to win. So I do believe this returns £138. So this is what it's selected. Man City to beat Leeds, Leicester to win, and Bolton to win. The interesting thing is Bolton are away against Luton, which is quite interesting. I am never going to leave anything out. I am purely going to do exactly as the ChatGPT, according to my SOP, tells me to do. The next bet is a both teams to score treble, and it's an £8.32 treble, and it is. I think this returns about 80 quid, I think. Brentford v Burnley, Sunderland v Bournemouth, and Coventry v Charlton. Some of these selections I do not agree with one bit, but I've been proved wrong so many times, so I just let it go. So the result and both teams to score, Trixie. So I think this works out to something like a £2.50. I think it's like a £2.55 Trixie. So basically that's doubles and trebles. And it is Sunderland to win and both teams to score, Coventry to win and both teams to score, and Norwich to win and both teams to score. I do believe Norwich have recently appointed a new manager. I'm not sure if he's taken the first team yet. He may well have done. He may well have been there 2 or 3 matches, but I've got a funny feeling, even if he has, it's very early days. So I do like the new manager impact. So also Southampton are flying at the moment. They are in an anti-post bet that I've had. 7-1 to get promoted. I think they're about 9-2 now, but they've had a shocking start. But I think they've won the last 3 or 4 now, and they're literally, I think it's 3 points or 4 points from the playoffs. But obviously they're not included in this bet, so let me get into it. So goals chaos. So these are both the same matches. So it's a £4.16 over 2.5 goals treble. Brentford v Burnley, Sunderland v Bournemouth, and Barnet v Harrogate. I don't know where it pulled that from. And obviously the next bet is a £2.08 over 3.5 goals treble, and it's the same matches again. So you want these same matches to be over 3.5 goals, and they are Brentford, Burnley, Sunderland, Bournemouth, Barnet, Harrogate. Let's see what it has to say here. This is where I look bonkers. So total of £41.60 state Apollyon Logic. Chaos level factor active. Ipswich, Barnsley, Stockport, MK Dons. They are removed from both teams to score. Ipswich played last night. They were actually 2-1, so that would have come up, but it discounted them, so I'm fine with that. Chaos exchange only allowed in both teams to score. That means that both teams must qualify for chaos factors. There is a chaos factor built in. Yeah. So let me get into it. I'm not going to waste time anymore. So, the horse racing bet. So here we are. Right, there's a risky one, and I tell you what, I actually think it's close to having the best form in the race, and it was 70-1. So hang around for that. I'm not saving it till last. I'm going in card order, but I think it is the last horse. So the first selection is in the 11.55 at Newbury, and it is Whimsy at 6-1. So the 11.55 is at Newbury is here. So 11.55 at Newbury, it's a mare's novice hurdle. So Whimsy is trained in Ireland. It has got by far the best form in the race. Let me just double check this one. All I need to do is see whether it's run in a hurdle before. Yeah, so it's got a hurdle rating of 107, right? Let me show you the selection. So this is... Let me just make it clear that our horse is quite exposed, but it is head and shoulders above anything so far in this race on what they've achieved. So Whimsy. So recent form. So bearing in mind, our horse is fit. It's had several runs this season already. Pretty much all decent runs. They brought it over from Ireland. So start with September. 2nd of 16. Racing post rating 125. The favourite did 107 that I've just showed you. Next race, 2 mile. It can go on slower ground if there's plenty of rain knocking around. 125 racing post rating again. Our horse was rated 122. It's running right up to that. When the racing post rating is above the official rating, they are running up to or above. So they're basically running above themselves. Not by a lot, but above themselves. I'll just quickly show you what I mean by running. So this is where it won by 21 lengths, 9-4 favourite. So it was expected to run well. 117 official rating, so it won above itself. It wasn't a crazy above itself because it was expected to anyway because it was favourite, if you know what I mean. So I'm not going to keep going through all this, but so there you go again. Carlisle 1 mile 6 soft. Once again, probably second favourite with it no F being there. Ran above itself, yeah, won by 5 lengths. So I'm going to keep it brief now, but we're backing the best horse currently in the race on form, and we're getting 6-1 about it. I'm happy about that. To be fair, it's probably, I'm not confident it's going to win. I do expect it to run very well though. So then, because you've got horses there with probably massive reputations, and there probably is something in the race to beat it. So the second selection is a horse I do like quite a lot. What I do quite like the look of a lot. That's not easy to say. So Solly Attwell at 33-1. It's a second outsider in the race in the 12.30 at Newbury. Bearing in mind, this is a 15 pence each way Super Hinds and £1 each way on all of them. I have gone for it a little bit today. If you want the extra places, go to Sky Bet and leave it to SP normally. So in the 12.30 So this is Solly Attwell. So it's a handicap chase. So what I'm going for is this horse recently. So this is 2 miles 6.5 furlong. So I apologise for the slow load up. So you can see Solly Attwell here, but it'll disappear very shortly. It's trained in Ireland once again. It ran a cracking race when it came 6th at Cheltenham most recently. So it is still in. So here you can see in decent form. It was in decent form, but in low-level races in Ireland. Yeah, then it went to Cheltenham in October, which was literally a month ago, right behind Smuggler's Haven, 6th of 18. Right, and I think there is something quite noticeable about this, which I'll show you about now, because I think it was this one. Yeah, so if you take a look at this, pushed along, in touch, race wide, in touch. Taken down early, press leader, yeah, always up there. Unanswered prayers, towards rear, in touch with leaders. So towards rear. So the first 4 were always right up there. I think it was a decent pace, but literally the 2 main horses that threatened the placings, sorry, the only 2 that came from behind. So I think they ran above themselves there, because I don't know if it did seem the first 7 horses that raced prominently, 5 out of the 7 filled the first placings. And you need to take a look at this one here. I tipped that the other day, if you remember. Dory. Dory then ran again after this race. And won. Yeah. So it franked the form. It was always travelling okay. Won quite nicely. So it's franked the form. So it's no 33-1 chance in my opinion. Solly Attwell is. It might not come in the first whatever it is 4, but it shouldn't be 33-1 in my opinion. It's in good form. A lot of these haven't even ran this season. So the next selection is Klimt Madrik in the 1:05 at Newbury. So Klimt Madrik is. So this is a 2 mile 4.5 furlong. Once again, it's a novice hurdler. I haven't really just gone for the handicaps because. So what I will say is, firstly, originally my selection was Cocktail Blue. So 2.5 mile at Newbury. So Cocktail Blue, it ran okay last time. That isn't the selection. It was the selection. It ran okay to start off with. On its debut at Fontwell over hurdles, it was keen. But still, Fontwell's absolutely a horrible course. I don't mean it as in like the looks of it, anything like that. It's hard work. It's sharp, it's undulating, and it's a real test. For this horse to be keen and to still go on and win, I did like the look of it. But I'm just going against it slightly because of this. And I'm sure it's this one that's extremely interesting. So what this horse did on its debut, it ran to a racing post rating of 121. So it was rubbing shoulders with some very good horses, and it had decent horses around it. So this is at Foss Lass. So you've got the favourite won the race. Second and third fancied horses. Rebecca Curtis started well with her novice hurdlers. 7-1. 4-1 was the third horse. 33-1 was Klimt Madrik. That was our selection. 9-4 horse finished after it. 5-1 finished after that. Then there was a big gap back to the big priced horses. So in my opinion, this form stands up. Or every single one of the fancied horses was up there. The only one that rubbed shoulders and ran above itself was Klimt Madrik. And I think this horse, I don't think it was a fluke. I honestly don't. So I am tempted to stick with that. It did a racing post rating, as I said, of 121, which is pretty big to be fair. They're not a big stable, the Toby Law stable. And I just think that, sorry if I'm only showing you half a screen, but he is reopposing the horse today. So Kalkbrenner is in the race again, which we're not too worried about that because we've got a decent price about our selection. So I'll just go to Cocktail Blur. So this is currently the second favourite, right? So second favourite, what I originally fancied, Racing Post rating 116. Yeah, our horse achieved more than that. So I just think I would sooner back a horse that's heading towards 3 times as the price. Kevin Brogan, not fussed. I don't go looking for him when he's riding, but I generally don't really go against him because my attitude towards that jockey is pretty much neutral. So the next selection is Love the Dose at 8-1 in the 140 at Newbury. I'm going to skip that one. So the next one, I'm not skipping the selection. I'm skipping the analysis or the quick heads up about it. Have a look for yourself if you're unsure about any of these. So let's put in there a minute. You've seen it, so you can pause the video. But this actually makes 2 million. This bet if it comes up, but it's not going to come up. Katate Dory, 10-1 in the 255 at Newbury. Sam Thomas is one to keep on the right side of with his. I think it's the Walter Plant Hire owners. So it's interesting because when he won a few races on the trot last year, well, 2 races on the trot last year, it came from hurdles. Well, this year's reappearance, to get it fair, it ran over hurdles, and it hasn't ran to a mark of 121 for a very long time over hurdles. I look back and I think the most recent one is about 107. So I think the horse prefers chase fences, but is actually improved in general. The fact that it ran much better over hurdles than it had done before it switched to fences, even though it was in okay form before it switched to fences from hurdles. So I just think the horse has improved as a whole, and I think it's protected the handicap mark by running it over hurdles, knowing it wasn't fully fit, and getting it spot on for today, because there's a lot of money at stake today, and he does tend to do well in these big races, does Sam Thomas. The third selection is Sunset Hill at 6-1 in the 12-15 at Newcastle. Right, the one you've been waiting for, right? We need something to work in our favour first. There's currently 8 runners, and I'm worried. They might switch it to a 3 place instead of 2 at Sky Bet, but if there's a non-runner, it messes us up. So keep the stakes small or put the bet on just before the race. But the horse is called Diligent Militia at 66-1 and the 11.48 at Doncaster. Right, let's get his feet wet. Let me show you all about this, and you'll think, crikey, why on earth is that horse that price? So let's go towards the head of the market. You've got the top 2. Please don't be a non-run anyway. Right, we've still got 8. You've got the top 2, right? Head and shoulders above, or pretty much head and shoulders. So let's go to Storm and George. Just have a quick look. I'm not going to go too much into the favourite, but this is a novice hurdle once again. And the novice hurdle, it achieved 115 at Newbury. You'd have to be happy with that. The previous run, I'm not going to show you too far down, was at Aintree in a Class 2. Finished 5th of 15. Yep, nice horse. Second favourite, Filibustering. 112. So I tell you what, I think this is solid horse. Going to be quite difficult to beat. It'll stay the trip because it's been run over 2 mile. If it turns into, let me just check the distance. Yep, 2 mile. If it turns into a sprint, it may not suit this horse, because horses that run over the same distance on the flat, like 2 mile, don't always want the same distance. Don't get me wrong, it's done enough to run very well so far. But if this turns into like a 3 hurdle sprint, it might not have the turn of 4. It's a nice horse, but so let me get on to the selection. Bearing in mind, have a look how far I've got to scroll down. So Manalashi looked okay. Never ran. Let me double check. I think it ran over. Yeah, it's ran over National Flat, I think. Yeah. Achieved a rating of 100, or Racing Post rating of 100. The next one has come from point to pointing. First time run after a wind operation. First time tongue strap. That's one to avoid for me. Doesn't mean it can't win. Lehor Digley was my original selection. I think it's got a chance. The problem is, though, I fancy the 2 outsiders, and I've got to go. Sorry, well, nearly the 2 outsiders. So it's 7-1 there. Diligent Militia. So take a look at this. I don't know if you couldn't quite see this. Just give me a second. So, Diligent Militia. Right, for me, one on its first start after being gelded a year ago, or just over a year ago, rated 88. It then ran at Chepstow in this race. So as you can see, the favourite rated 125. Yeah, very nice performance, strong horse. Blue Carpet. Yep, Doctor's Hill. So let's have a quick look at Tashan. So let's have a look at some of the horses that ran around it. So this is Tashan, the horse that ran in this race. So prior to our horse's race, this horse had already won twice over hurdles. Yeah, it then ran just, was it just in? I think just in front of our horse, and then it won next. It's franked the form since. Yeah, I like the look of that. So let's have a look at Doctor's Hill. So Doctor's Hill that finished. I should tell you how far it finished in front of our selection in the Masked Man race in a second. So, Masked Man, 10th of October. Last time, unseated rider. Behind, actually, Cocktail Blur. Yep, I think it got a chance still. It was actually a favourite for that race. And then after that, won at Chepstow. So, two horses that finished... Right, where we go? So, beaten 17 lengths. So, a horse that beat it by 1 length came into the race with experience. And then, the horse that finished, 5 lengths in front of it, has won again since. And so has Tashan. So, this is solid form, this is. But the problem is, you don't know what the plan is with the trainer. They could be thinking, right, we've got a nice horse here. Let's run it down the field, get a handicap mark. So here we go. This is the Masked Man race. 1 since, 2nd since. This form, in context, to anything that is trying to come third, is absolutely head and shoulders above anything. So the next race is... This is where I can overlook it because it ran at Fosslas on soft. So, in touch. So they said it made a noise. That's the only concerning thing is. But I'm thinking maybe it was because of the soft ground. But don't get me wrong, it was stepped up half a mile. Maybe it wasn't ready for that. So I'm just hoping this third run isn't just a prep for a handicap mark. That is the worry. But I think they've got an okay horse on hand on the hands that shouldn't be 70 to 1. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying about this horse. So the horse is called Diligent Militia at 66 to 1. I've got 66 to 1 in the 11:48 at Doncaster. There's nothing even close to having the same kind of form as our horse. We've even got better form. I think it was better. Let me just double check. I'm sure it was better form than the. So what race and post rating did we get? No, I don't think we did actually, did we? I think it was 103. Getting confused with the other big prize. Yeah, so 103. But it has got the 3rd best form in the race. But it's the 6th highest price in the race. So it's Diligent Militia at 66 to 1, which is... I'm not saying it's banker. I'm not saying it's going to come in the first 3. I want it to come in the first 3. But it shouldn't be 66 to 1. That's what I want to make it quite clear. So I'm sorry it's been a long video. If you give me a like for all the information I've given you, make your own mind up on the day. So I wish you the very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.